John Bobrow here, creator of Blinks, and we're here for another lunchtime live stream. Today we're doing a special live stream, as always, and we've got our special guest with us, David Page, creator of Battle Balloons. Hey, David.
Hey, everybody.
Before I get started, if this is your first time joining a live stream, I always like to give you a little bit of a background on Blinks. So Blinks are the world's first smart tabletop game system. We are kickstarted twice. This in May of this year. We raised 200% of our funds and sold over 20 games. And it's an open source platform. And so on Tuesdays on our live streams, we're going to be sharing things from the developer community, developer tips. Today we're talking with a game designer and developer about his game that we saw on the forum, had no plans of releasing more games this year than the ones we've already planned for. And then we're like, oh man, there's so many good games popping into the forum. Let's see if we can start to accelerate the games we publish and start to bring people more games. So it's a little bit of background on Blinks. If you're interested to learn more, you can, of course, check out all the videos here on the YouTube channel or visit move38.com and look at all the games. So without further ado, I asked David to join us today as I've been, to be honest, I've been playing the summer games quite a bit. And Battle Balloons is arguably the most strategic of our summer series games, so these 2020 summer games. Before I get into the game, tell us a little bit about yourself. How'd you learn about Blinks? Who are you, David?
Sure. I found out about Blinks on the first Kickstarter, maybe 3 years ago now, something around those lines.
Yep.
I'm always in the market for a cool new technology toy, right? I love tinkering with anything. I spent a lot of time perusing the Kickstarter, so that's kind of how this whole thing started. And when I got them earlier this year, I just thought these are really fun. And the first thing I want to do is like make a game with them, right? Like it's a hobby of mine just to like create stuff, merging things together. Whether it be tabletop tangible board games or trying to plug stuff in. Blinks are like the perfect little device, I guess, for that sort of thing.
Awesome. And so did you back and get a developer kit right from the start?
I did as an add-on. So at first I was like, oh, this seems complicated. I'm not going to sign up for it. But then on the, right before they send it, you got a second chance. So I was like, okay, yeah, let's add it in. So yeah, I did have one when I got them this year.
Awesome. Awesome. Sorry about that. Ernie's getting his regular walk. I warned David ahead of time, but didn't warn the viewers. So let's see. I'm going to break out your game in front so I can show everybody. I'm just going to turn on. So I've got, we're packing these up actually next week, which is really exciting. We are just receiving all the materials for packaging and the stickers. And so let's see if I hold that up correctly. Here's David's game, Battle Balloons. So how about, tell me a little bit about Battle Balloons and like, what was the inspiration for it?
Sure. So originally it started off before I even knew about Blinks. The idea of Battle Balloons was just, an environment, an interactive environment when I was kind of learning how to make AR games or AR apps in general. You tap a bunch of circles, they get bigger, and eventually they pop. And this is an easy way to like get the process down. And so that eventually evolved into a game, like this points and an objective and all that stuff. It just kept adding stuff in there. And so, like I said, right when I got the Blinks and played all the games, I was kind of blown away by like how theoretically simple it could be, because there's only so much you can do right there. Magnetic colors, tap them, whatever. So it's like I thought the constrictions were kind of like a fun thing in making games. Like you can't you can't make too complicated of a game. I don't know. So I really wanted to make something, and I was racking my head like, what game could I invent for these or whatever, but it was way easier to just go with the game I already made, Battle Balloons, So I thought more of like how to port that over instead of just creating anything from scratch. But it is in a very different form than what it was, of course, on a phone game.
Got it. So you had made Battle Balloons, but it was something that was on a touch screen. Super cool. And then you ported it over. And I feel like it's also evolved since we saw it pop up on the forum. No pun intended.
Yeah. Definitely, because the biggest thing is I wanted to use all of the Blink's capabilities. So, movement as in like rearranging them, different colors, clicking and long pressing, double. I just kind of wanted to use everything in the toolbox. So the biggest transformation since when I first posted it was the Fortification mode. To move health from one to the other, and so that makes rearranging the actual cluster a part of the game rather than just a preference.
Right. And that was actually totally news to me. So like I had been playing the previous version of it, and then excuse me. Oh, I might need water. I should always grab water before these. I had been playing the game, and then this mode of fortification was added. So let me I'll hold them up and just kind of, you can correct me if I do anything wrong in this process. So, so in Battle Balloons, there's actually, David, I'm gonna ask you to introduce Battle Balloons. So what do we have here? How do we play Battle Balloons?
Well, one thing to note is I've done this and failed plenty of times with family and friends. Like usually if people are just being introduced to Blinks, Battle Balloons shouldn't be the first game because it's hard to talk about specifics when you don't even understand how to use them. So I like to go through kind of a cycle, so like Speed Racer or Wham, a couple of these others, just to get an idea of how to interact with these objects. But assuming that everyone on the stream knows what's going on here, Battle Balloons is a game where there's 3 sizes of balloons. The object is to pop your opponent's balloon or not pop what they have, like a bomb or a trapped balloon. So that's the win condition, just stay alive or, pop their crown. Red, blue, and green are the 3 sizes from high to low. And basically the size just dictates the amount of health.
And so I thought this was so clever. Like there's 3 levels or 3 potential health amounts for balloons. So how strong these balloons are, or how many balloons are in the bundle. And you can switch between them by clicking. So you can see I've gone from green to blue to red, and then back to green. And so we play this game in battle, at least the way I've been playing the game is typically 2 and now even more players. But it's reminds me a lot of like a card game in that I have my hand. And so I've got my hand and we all agree on, let's say 1 green, 1 blue, or 2 blue and 2 red, something like that. Then you said I have to place a crown beneath. And so the way you place a crown is double clicking a single piece puts a crown underneath it. And so now there's a crown hidden underneath that piece. And if I long press, it switches mode into gameplay mode. And so in gameplay, so I'll switch out of gameplay. This is my setup hand. I do this in secret. And then I set it into gameplay mode. And the green ones have the lowest health. It's 2 or 3, is that right? 2 or 3 balloons. The blue ones are kind of medium health, but it's random. There's a little bit of possibility for more or less. And then red has the most. It'll have either 5 or 6. And so when I'm playing with his friends, it's with friends, they're like, well, why wouldn't you put the crown just behind the toughest balloon? We're taking turns popping, and you'd be like, well, you're gonna hide it behind the thing with the most defense. Maybe. Like, I feel like one of my favorite ways to play is to put it behind a green balloon on my first play, because everybody feels like, why would you do that? That strategy probably won't last that long. Yeah, I find that like there's just the first playthrough is kind of like, well, how can I really play this strategically, or how can I? And then right after the end of the first game, it's a, okay, hold up, we gotta play that again, and then the wheels start turning, and it's yeah, and so even without the fortification, there's like this really deeply strategic placement game, or at least, you know, maybe I shouldn't say deeply, but strategic by.
It's more strategic as you go on. Like the more iterations, you know, you can build a pattern and break it, rather than if you know you're only going to play twice, and it's like, well, yeah, maybe you do go with the red just because, you know. But yeah,
there's very much that sort of prisoner's dilemma with how many times are you going to have to play this person, and how many times can John just hide it behind the lowest one. And so fortification you were talking about is really cool, and I like the way this is handled here. So if you're attacking, let's say in this case, I placed the crown underneath this blue one, and you're popping this red one. I could choose to, on my turn, go, I'm gonna bluff that behind my red is the crown. And so I can take my I can take one of my pieces, one of the sides lights up, and if I attach it, it donates one balloon. So it transfers. So now you might be like, okay, clearly the crown is behind that one. I'm just sticking with it until you realize I'm pulling your chain. Is that kind of how you envisioned that?
Yeah, it's every turn, you know, the tapping was like the attack, and I wanted, you know, an alternate rather than just making more decisions. I think it's more fun the more decisions you have to make throughout. That allows for more strategy too, or bluffing or whatever, right? So, you know, instead of just being able to tap, what else could you do? It was like, okay, rearrange. We haven't used rearrange yet, so how does that do anything? And it just made sense to do something with the health, right? Because it's like you can either take one of theirs or move one of yours. It seemed like a fair balance per turn, you know.
And I think one of the things I like about it a lot is that you don't need to play with it from the start. Like when somebody breaks out this game, they're going to want to play the simplest, easiest version of it right away. And they can get into it and then sort of add layers of, and I think it's nice that you were thinking about that, just for anybody watching who's curious about like the different affordances of blinks, as you mentioned. You know, you can click them, you can double click them, triple click them, moving them around, breaking them apart, putting them back together. A lot of the games, some of our games only deal with movement. For example, Speed Racer kind of uses a click to start, but then you're really just hustling to move.
Rearranging all the time, yeah.
Yeah, and so I don't think it's a strong rule to say, incorporate all of the different ways you can interact with them, but I think it's cool that you're like, you know, I'm not using movement in the game yet. Let's throw in kind of, I saw it almost as an Easter egg. I was just like, oh cool, I picked one off. What does this do? Oh cool, it transfers health. I feel like you could get through playing lots of strategic games of Battle Balloons before even adding that layer. And then adding that layer just adds one whole new level of complexity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you mentioned kind of the deck of cards, and I think that's a perfect analogy. I mean, you know, of course, you know, you came up with it. You're kind of like promoting that it's you can use them however you want, and that's why I think that's really what drove me, like inspiration from the way you describe it as layers of the game, right? You can use fortification or not. Like you didn't even mention the bomb yet, right? It's the same idea that you could play and only put kings down or crowns down. You never even have to go with a trap bomb, or you could do the opposite too. It's just kind of like, here's the rules. Once you know them, you can adapt them to any sort of game you want to play. And actually, one of my kind of core goals with Battle Balloons was to eventually make it like a strategic scorekeeper for other games. Kind of to use like Mario Party as an analogy, a big Mario Party fan. There's like all the mini games that you play, you can win individually, but there's also that like integrated, you're on the board game map, right? You're trying to get to the end. Like there's that overarching goal. So like to me, Battle Balloons is that overarching goal. You win a mini game of any other Blinks game, and then that's the person that gets to either attack or fortify on that turn. And that changes, it's kind of just to try to tie things together.
That's kind of cool. I never even thought about it that you could use the fortify between players as well. Loser has to fortify winner one time, or or balance it where the winner has to fortify each of the other players after the start of the next game. I'm not sure if you've thought about it like that. I feel like...
No, I haven't done the fortifying the opponent yet. Yeah, that's no reason you can't, though. That's the beauty of it, I guess.
So I'm seeing some comments come in as well. Somebody, let's see. Brian Frick says Stratego-esque. I know that Stratego is played on a hexagonal grid. But I may be losing some people here by this, but I've actually never played Stratego myself. David, have you played Stratego?
Yeah, definitely. That's Stratego-esque in that you're hiding from the opponent what's actually under there, and Stratego has a bomb, right? You can move down, and the other opponent would try to tell you that that's an important piece. You want to capture it. Boom, it's a trap, and so that aspect is very similar.
Awesome. Out of curiosity, are there any what's the favorite game you're playing as of late?
I've been mostly playing Bad Ones and trying to really refine it. I know you guys are building it next week, so any little tweaks, technically could be thrown in there. But I'm really excited to get my hands on what the interns are building. I've been hearing that game just sounds like there's a lot of longevity to it, right? Like the whole idea of structuring your piece again, it's kind of like card building kind of a thing. Like you have what you have, but everything is separate, but hopefully balanced, that kind of thing. So I don't know. Sure. That sounds really
fun. Let's see. I'm just checking. Jonathan West has also not played Stratego, so I'm not alone here. And who do you typically play games with? Like, is it, maybe I can stretch this into a longer question, which is, I realized I didn't even ask where you're phoning in from. So, yeah, where are you from and where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Indiana, living in Chicago now for a little over 7 years.
Cool.
That's where I am now. Typically who I play games with, friends, family. We try to have a game night as frequently as we can, although it's been tough. It was virtual game nights and other things, of course, recently, but super recently, the past few weeks, things have been a little better around, and finally got to kind of take Blinks out into the world a little bit more. And that was fun. So I've been taking it everywhere to the different, lake house with the family a few weeks ago, a couple game nights, the past couple weekends, just, so it's the same people. Whoever wants to play with me, that's who I play with at the time, right?
Awesome. Is it largely adults, kids, grandparents?
Adults, yeah.
Yep. Is it, do you play with one other player, two other, what's the most number of people you've played with? I obviously understand that's limited at the moment.
3. But all the games, a lot of the games it's kind of an unlimited, pass and play type of thing. So it depends on if you want to count that time we play and everyone in the room touches eventually. So like, I don't know, 8, I guess would be, but
oh, cool.
not once, right?
I feel like we had that experience. We've seen that experience kind of with Bomb Brigade, where some people will play and other people will be watching and just sort of cheering on. And so I think even pass and play games with Blinks, I also realized just with any game system in general, like my partner Jamie, she doesn't like to play video games, but she'll happily like watch someone play video games. And so I feel like there's kind of this middle state of like, let me see how somebody plays first, then decide if I want to get in. I feel like Battle Balloons is like a nice, easy one for somebody to watch somebody play a game and go, oh, okay, I'm in next round. Or let me have a go at it. If you've only got 7 Blinks, you got enough for maybe like a pass and play version, versus if you've got the expansion or more, you can play or get together with somebody with Blinks and each have your own.
Yeah. The pass and play mentality of it, that's something that I guess Dan more so came up with than me, right? He's been great. Working with him has been great throughout the past month or so, however long it's been, with like new ideas and helping with the code and everything. So it's been great.
That's actually just a good thing for people to hear about as well, as like, I didn't even prompt it, but Dan's our lead game designer. You see him on our live streams. He works with every one of the game designers that are publishing games on Blinks. And we have so much fun, like making suggestions, trying something out with ourselves, throwing back and forth. Like, has that process, I've seen the game evolve over the past 4 weeks. And it's like, oh, cool, that's a neat little animation, or, oh, that's a cool rule. I didn't even think about that strategy.
Yeah, it's just, it keeps growing. The more I think about the game, the more it's like, where can you squeeze in another decision, another option, or just kind of making fun animations on it. That's a whole nother thing, like outside of building the game and the logic, but then also how does it need to look like. The lights are a really cool thing. I think that when you're talking about people just onlooking instead of actually, you can have fun just watching people play these games, because little light show, like it's fun to see the interactivity. It's, I think, more fun than watching, sitting down next to someone play Call of Duty or something like that, which is fun to play, but to watch, you can really enjoy.
Gives me a headache.
The spectacle.
I get nauseous watching first-person shooters. I feel like that must stem from like, I don't know, needing to be in the driver's seat or something. But my brother's the same way. He's like, John, I'm not really, I'm not into games, but he'll say, he's just like, I just love looking at them. They're so, I think they have a very kind of, I don't know, mesmerizing, or just, it's just like, I think the quality of light is different than the quality of light of things we're used to looking at or holding. So I actually, this is a total aside, but recently spoke with a reviewer who mentioned to me that he's deep into ghost hunting, like proper like ghost research, and all he could talk about was like the quality of light. And I was like, yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Like, I mean, every time that they're put in somebody's hands, everybody has kind of a different take on what excites them about them. But I think that's something really unique and special about like being able to make physical games, is there's, it's different than making an online game where you're compared to everything else on screen, which could be arguably anything.
Yeah, something about it that if it's tangible, then it's personal. You, even if you don't like personify a blink, like it's not like I named all my Blinks, but like they're a little more of a character that I live with here than like the gaming consoles I have, right? They seem more mechanic.
Yep. Do you keep them with you? Do you carry your sushi roll around?
Well, if I'm going out for like going to the park or something, yeah. Not everywhere I go. It's not that big of a thing, but
I've always have one in a pocket, and so anywhere I am, somebody will be like, hey,
well, I
John.
have to be a little more careful because I did, and I lost some, so then I had to get some more. So that was like I got to keep them at home sometimes. You know?
I feel like that's a story for the live stream here. How'd you lose some?
You know, a bag got taken in the park. I left it, came back for it, was gone. And it was Frisbee and Blinks, and you know.
But you were playtesting them, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
First of all, and did we get you a new set?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got a good set now.
I just, you know, like one of the things.
It was poor timing because I was right in the middle of like, oh, we also want to like, you know, make Battle Balloons a real game. I was like, well, I got some bugs to work through, and I'm just gonna have to use my imagination. Which I'm very impressed by the people on the forum that do that. Like making games, they don't even have their hands on a set. Yeah, that's impressive to me. I couldn't do that.
Yeah, super cool to watch people, and our interns are actually working on updates to the documentation, because we've got like these 3 years worth of, you know, there was like documentation from 3 years ago, and then kind of been updated, and you know, different developer kits. We've released about 4 at this point, and still people are, you know, popping in, and I think that community has just been just amazing. And actually, a shout out to some of you who are on the live stream: Jonathan West, Jonas Runkle, Brian. Like, there's just such a good, and Lee's. I don't see Lee today. I don't think he was going to be able to make it today. Leia mentioned she's excited to get her Blinks so she can try your game. Let's see. This Brian inserting. Brian always makes sure he gets a joke in the live stream. He said, "It's not possible that I talked to the ghost hunting guy. He passed away exactly 2 years ago today." Let's see. Well, what are some, and when you're not making Blinks games, David, what keeps you busy? What do you work on?
My spare time, I like to tinker with everything. I said before, retro gaming, RetroPie. I spend a lot of time tweaking that. It's almost more building games instead of playing games. It's kind of more of my hobby now. It's transformed. Blinks is similar to that. Like I'd rather play a game, make another one, than like actually spend time playing the game I already made. But you know, that's the free time. I work for a company called Introspire. That takes up most of my time. But
awesome.
You know.
And any hints of any games that you're thinking about that we might look out for in the future for Blinks?
You know, I do have an idea for one to try to fit into like the Battle Balloons universe. You know, there was kind of a storyline shift mid development. You know, from being Battle Balloons being like, you know, attacking blimps in the sky to more of a festival carnival game where you like throw darts or whatever at them. Like you mentioned, like maybe the health is actually 3 red is 3 balloons, not necessarily like a bigger balloon or anything like that. So I'd like to kind of take the mentality of, you know, the next booth over is another game that I'm working on. It's kind of like Simon Says, but you create the pattern for the other person to match, and you go back and forth. Again, the winner of this round gets to move in Battle Balloons, kind of try to tie them together as like a broader game instead of individual. I don't know, some sort of link there. It's a work in progress, but more of an idea.
We'll definitely keep eyes out for it. Anywhere we can follow you, or anything you'd like to give a shout out before we wrap?
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram, page Tony David. And I guess, yeah, just Introspire. Check it out, introspire.com. We do a lot of cool stuff. We're constantly building things, and love to work with people who also like to build.
Awesome. So we'll put that all in the description. We'll put your Instagram handle in there too. Braden just commented that his Blinks will arrive sometime today. Awesome. Cool. Check out the, I feel like even I get giddy and excited when blinks arrive. We just, we had new samples. If you're a Kickstarter backer and you're watching from the latest Kickstarter, we have samples of our new packaging arrived today. So we have, the packaging got significantly smaller.
Much smaller. That's the whole 6 in there?
It's all 6 and the sushi roll case. And for all of our international backers, I think we estimated our international shipping costs would be something like $25 or $35 based on previous shipping. And we were able to get that down to $15 to $25 for almost everybody, simply because we reduced the volume and the weight of the packaging. So another big thing was because of COVID, airplane space is very limited for shipping. So in the middle of the campaign, we decided we should spend the money on the tooling, modify the packaging, and yeah, but I also kind of like it. It's nice and easy to be able to, here's the expansion, the core, real easy to grab and go like this. I travel with them in the sushi roll case, but not a bad way to be able to buy some blinks, bring them, or send them to somebody as a gift. So
yeah, I like the more streamlined packaging. That was a good move.
Thanks. Before we wrap, let's see, I've got a couple of announcements. Last week we had our first winner of our core set giveaway. Brian, congratulations on receiving those. This week, let's see, I wanted to just follow up with a couple announcements. So we've got our weekly giveaway. You have to complete 3 steps in order to enter to win the core set of blinks. And we'll be announcing that on our Thursday live stream 2 days away at 1 p.m. The first step is to share a post on Instagram or Facebook. The second step is to tag a game-loving friend for an extra chance to win. And sign up for the Blinks newsletter. We'll post the link here in the live stream. It's also available on our website, move38.com, pages Enter to Win. And then the other contest that's live right now is our Sushi Roll Challenge. David, have you tried the Sushi Roll Challenge?
Yes, I'm perfecting it before I send out my video, but you'll definitely see me on there.
I believe you have you have 4 days left to enter. So show us your dexterity with the Sushi Roll Challenge, share a video of you attempting to this challenge, and I'll show real quickly. I'm horrible at it. Everybody on the team, I'm getting better. Let's see. So the Sushi Roll Challenge is to hang your blinks from one panel, and then in one fell swoop, there it was. Be able to wrap them up. Not the slickest
You've been practicing.
I have been, and I think, you know what? I got called out for this earlier. I didn't do it here, but somebody was like, I think yours have stronger magnets, John. So the best video will not only win a limited sushi roll case, but they'll also get their choice of Blinks core or expansion set. You have to tag the video, hashtag Sushi Roll Challenge on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter. Otherwise, we won't be able to find it. And so 4 days left to enter. Of course, if you don't have blinks, you can get them at move38.com while supplies last. Developer kits are available for pre-order from move38.com. And David, this has been a ton of fun learning about Battle Balloons. I can't wait for people to play this game. I should note that if you're eager to play Battle Balloons, we did a 2020 summer game sale in which we offered 500 of the summer games. They sold out in 4 days. We're definitely going to look to figure out how to make Battle Balloons available in the future, but in 2020, we've got those lucky 500 summer game recipients. So yeah, looking forward to getting more of your games out there and seeing what you put up on the forum. So thanks again, David.
Oh yeah. Glad to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
And help me remind everybody, follow along with subscribe down below and make sure you check the bell. We'll be here every week, Tuesday, Thursday, 1 p.m. Peace.
All right, it's been real. Glad to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Of course. Let's see. And there we go.